Assassin's Creed Shadows. Culturally appropriate your copy in November. Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. Weekly Wing It number 84 here on Rumble and YouTube. Starting off tonight with me is Billy Bob Sack.
Kapla.
And along with us is the Lord Otter.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Bless you. And Frederick.
Bonsoir, mes amis américains.
I don't speak Spanish. Okay, over in the chat, we have R.H. Snow. She said first. I had to jump in and say second. But Frederick, with his accent, is third. King Bob's also with us. And John A. Douglas, welcome. It's been a little while. Good to see you. Says, good evening. For once, I remember to get here. No notification, though. I'm not sure what I could do about the no notification. YouTube is YouTube.
Now frequency. Now how could
Yeah,
you say
go.
that?
King Bob, more like no job.
They took our gerbs.
New Mexico gerbs.
King Burb took our gerbs.
Oh boy. You know what, Gino? You need to get on here with us and explain to us more on the DC-20 system. Why don't you do that, boy?
Yeah, I want to hear more about it. I was reading a little bit of the rules while I was working out, but I wasn't able to look at a ton of it.
I think he sent me the PDF file of not Jeffrey Epstein, but the file for DC-20.
It was like the
And,
starter rules.
Yeah, I think also the character sheet. It's the playtest rule. Come on, King Bob.
What I was looking at it's kind of like a more simplified 5th edition.
Here, I'll send him the link.
I already did.
It's like
Okay.
5th edition,
He's in
but
our,
without that. And it's like the best way I can describe it is like 5th edition is like it's streamlining what's kind of there with like 3rd edition and 2nd edition, but it's developed its own style at the same time. DC-20 looks like it's just leaning into more of that style and just getting rid of what is kind of just detracting from 5th edition, which is actually a smart move. It has a better idea of what it wants.
So they added some quality of life improvements by cutting away the hassle, the more hassle-like stuff.
More or less. It feels like different old school Renaissance type systems are leaning into different styles of D&D. It looks like DC-20 is leaning a lot more into kind of like the lightweight 5th edition style.
Huh. Bad Sauce is also with us. He says, beep, beep. Driving the bus tonight. And how you doing, Gino?
Oh, I'm about ready to smash my head against a wall. Regular expressions are a pain in the butt.
Oh. I know what you're
Database
talking about.
work.
Yeah. Yeah, for the functional JavaScript thing, I'm supposed to be able to make a phone number verification thing. So all this crap about numbers and spaces and dashes and all sorts of fun.
Oh, the solution is simple. You just do a drop-down menu of all the phone numbers in numerical order for users to check out.
That would suck so bad.
If it helps at all, there are actually sites that will help you make regular expressions so you're not like banging your head against a wall.
Oh yeah, if it wasn't for regex 101, I think is the app or the website I've been using, I would have no idea what the frick I'm doing.
It gets really confusing really quickly.
But that's an aside. So you want to hear about D20 then? I take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the system is streamlined to make people more interactive, because the big problem in most people's opinion on D&D is when you're on your turn, and you're paying attention. But if you're not on your turn, you kind of just don't give a crap what's going on, because it's not going to be you for like a while. So you have nothing to do but sit there and play on your phone or something, whatever. But this introduces some reaction stuff to where even if it's not your turn, you can do things to help other people. So it's a lot more fun that way. Like if someone's attacking Otter and he's next to me, I can use one of my abilities to give him bonus defense to make sure that he doesn't get hit. So I need to be more involved in what's going on. That's basically the whole idea.
Does that
Why would
still mean that he's not already directly engaged with another opponent?
I don't understand the question.
This like this is the D&D system, right?
Right.
So like, if somebody had just rolled and they're like locked in a parry or something, I mean, is it taking that kind of detail into account, or?
No, so what it does is you have what they call action points, and you get 4 action points. And you can use these action points to decide what you want to do on your turn or as a reaction to other people's turns. So if Otter was getting attacked by, say, like a goblin, and I wanted to defend him, I just say, I'm going to use my action point to use the parry maneuver to give Otter's physical defense +5. So now his physical defense goes up, and that was one of my action points. So when it comes back around to my turn, instead of having 4, I'm going to have 3 because I already used 1
Gotcha.
to defend him.
That's pretty neat, actually.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really awesome. But the other thing that makes the system really nice is you decide how to use the action points on what you want to do. So if I'm making an attack, that's 1 action point. But then I can buff my attack by adding other maneuvers to it. So give it another plus to damage or another plus to hit or something like that.
So it keeps your players from doing this during the game,
Yeah.
The incredible art of Umbrella Cat right there. No, seriously, that is incredible seeing how she did it with a mouse.
Ugh.
I
I
think you
wouldn't
need
wanna
to
do that.
specify which piece she did.
All of it, isn't it?
No,
Isn't
I
that
think
all her?
she
Oh,
did the flaming otter.
I know the flaming otter. I thought everything on there was her.
No, you can tell which one was done by someone who's an actual artist and which one was done by me.
I don't.
I thought that was you.
I couldn't even do that good. So Evelyn Music and Anthony Rondinelli have joined us. How's it going, guys? And also Maji Chan just hopping on the panel. What's up, Maji?
Hey, old Maji.
I escaped from work.
Woohoo! Now we get. How do we keep you out of there? They keep recapturing you.
I know, but I gotta pay bills. I kind of go.
Oh, that's how they keep recapturing you.
Stupid adulting.
I know.
Fight the fairies! You fight those fairies! Fight the fairies!
Hey, Anthony.
So you're fighting the fairies? Like Otter?
I wish.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk Deadpool tonight, right?
I did, but I'm kind of curious about your theory on it.
Oh, it's actually not a theory. I caught some of the news on it. Marvel has not learned their lesson.
Of
Well,
course. not.
Deadpool and Wolverine are just tearing it up at the box office and putting all sorts of good attention on these characters. This is when Marvel decided to announce that they're killing off Deadpool in the comics, and his lesbian daughter, I think Ellie, is going to be taking over the mantle. Put a chick in it, make her gay. Again. They do not learn.
Don't we
They
already
did this.
have,
They did this with Thor. As soon as Thor finally became popular because of the movie, what do they do in the comics? Immediately, they make him unworthy, unable to wield Mjolnir, and Jane Foster takes it up.
No.
To be
As soon as they got everybody looking at Hulk, they replaced him with Amadeus Cho.
to be fair, isn't there already like 2 female Deadpools? There's a female Wade,
Yeah, there's
Wade
Lady
Wilson,
Deadpool.
and then there's
Yeah, but
Win-
in this case, they are actually replacing Wade Wilson. It's not a very- Not a variant of him from another universe. That's Ladypool, and that was hilarious. But they're in the comics. They are killing him off and just replacing him with his daughter. They're getting rid of Wade. That's my
Yeah,
problem.
So
Yeah, I have no problem with what if you want to call her daughter pool. That actually sounds like it could be really cool. What I do have a problem with is they're getting rid of Wade Wilson. That was down so low I couldn't hear it. I could barely.
hear
I
it
only
just enough.
heard it because I had the headphones on. Well, I know why. It's because we had the volume down to background music levels, and that's meant to be up and in your face, and so.
right.
Andrew Campbell, how you doing, man? Yeah, so that's what they're doing. You would think after having such a big success at the box office, they would probably do comics, more Deadpool dedicated comics instead of killing them off.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, but is anybody surprised or upset at this point for real?
It's just going to send more people towards the indies.
Yeah, I guess I am a little. I thought after seeing this success, they wouldn't follow it up with, "Hey, you're really liking this. Let's ruin it." It's like I thought they actually wanted to make money once in a while. Because
Oh,
they're
no.
DEI
I mean, they did.
investors. They got to be running out of cash themselves by this point.
No, they're
They
owned
did.
by
They
the
made
big.
Deadpool and Wolverine. They tricked people into going and giving them fucking money, and there you go.
They're owned by like BlackRock all the way to the top.
Yeah,
and they're not
but I mean,
gonna-
even their resources are limited.
No, it's not.
They can only spend
Really?
so much. If they were unlimited, then they wouldn't worry about us making money. But they want to make sure we don't.
Because they want more than money. They want power.
they're the
That's how it
biggest-
says. If they were smart, they would sell comics as an extension on the movies, right? All right, Snow agrees. Now, what I've heard, this is kind of surprising. I guess maybe not surprising. They didn't want to do the Deadpool Wolverine movie. Well, apparently, the word is, I haven't read up and confirmed all this, but I've heard it said in a few channels that are covering the topic that Feige wanted them to not do it, and he didn't want to bring Hugh Jackman in because he wanted to start over fresh, and so Ryan Reynolds actually went to the president of Disney and pitched it to him, and the president greenlit the project. Now,
That's because
you know what president this was, right?
Yeah, JPEG, not
It
Iger.
was JPEG, not Iger. So he greenlit it, which kind of overrode Feige and all them. Now, I don't know why Feige wants to keep ruining it. He is the guy who built the MCU. He's the guy who orchestrated it and made it awesome.
No, he
I don't know
isn't.
why he
wrote
wants
the
to kill his own
coattail.
baby. What's that?
Feige didn't do anything. He wrote the coattail of Perlmutter. Perlmutter was the one who instigated the original Marvel movies that launched the big phase.
Oh, was he? I thought it was Feige who was the creative mind behind all that.
He was there, but he was more writing the coattails. Everybody thought he was, but if you actually look, it wasn't him. It was Perlmutter.
Yeah. See, Perlmutter's very good with the books, but there's some things his ideas are, well, let's just say fuddy-duddy. But the thing is, he kept a lot of their crap reeled in. And with
Feige
him,
was in charge of Phase 4. That should tell you his creative mindset.
I mean, for a while, it was Perlmutter was running the TV side of things, and Feige was running the movie side of things. Marvel Studios and Marvel TV were kind of in a bit of a push-pull battle between the two of them. They were butting heads. That's why you got some things that are consistent and some things that are not. But, I mean, remember, Perlmutter did bring us the Inhumans. That was not good. But without him, everybody went nuts. And just, they need him back. You know?
Oh, dude, he sold all his shares. He's out.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame him. I mean, really the only thing I big time disagreed with Perlmutter on was he was the one who didn't want to originally do the Black Widow movie because he said action figures don't sell well with girls, and the girl action figures don't sell well to the boys. So there's no point in doing a Black Widow movie because those toys won't sell. That was his big fuddy-duddy moment. But if that's his only fuddy-duddy thing, then they really need somebody like him to reel all this nonsense back in.
I give him a little bit of credit for this one because the movies he was looking at, for the record, was Elektra, Black Widow, Black Cat, and there was one more. They were all really, really bad.
Oh yeah, how do you get something as awesome as Catwoman and Halle Berry, put them in the same movie and have it suck? I mean, how?
That's what he was looking at statistic wise. The only reason why the whole woman thing took off was because Wonder Woman's director fought tooth and nail to make it. It turned out wonderful, and then they went and botched the second one.
Yeah, the first one was decent. The second one was just, they got destroyed for that too. Everybody called them on that. It's like, do you not realize what you just did? I mistakenly had a glimmer of hope that Marvel would go, you know what, this works. Let's get back to basics. But no. But despite all that, at least it seems like the movie was good. What do you think, Maji?
I'm gonna go into non-spoilers because I don't want to spoil it for people who want to see it. So
yeah,
here is
I want to
my
go see it
take.
this week.
Alrighty.
A slight. It's not even really a spoiler. It's a word of caution. The TVA is in it, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, that's all in the trailers, so that's not a spoiler.
Exactly. But I didn't see Loki, so it was a little confusing on some of the little aspects because they don't go into great detail.
Right.
But
from my understanding from the trailers and everything is that he's a rogue TVA agent.
Yeah. But that's the only real spoiler I'm going to give on that one. It's not a deep, complex plot, but very crude humor, very cool action scenes. No nudity. I'm impressed, actually. Well, a lot of sexual jokes and references and.
In a Ryan Reynolds movie? Aww.
Yeah, exactly.
I never would have
That's
guessed.
why I'm actually shocked. But overall, it's crude humor. If you're familiar with the culture wars, most of the fourth wall breaking jokes will make sense. Ryan Reynolds spells it out plain as day what most people are complaining about. Which is actually probably why Disney's not going to learn anything. Because
in fact, they're quite sore about the existence of this movie.
Exactly. But it's fun. It's entertaining. If you like Deadpool 1 and 2, the inappropriate music in terms of the soundtrack just not matching what's going on, but somehow matches because it's Deadpool, you'll have a great time.
I loved his love song score over the slow motion car wreck in the first one.
Mm-hmm. But it does actually have a little bit of a story arc for Wolverine, more than Deadpool necessarily. It's corny. It makes fun of all the corn. It knows it's designed because it knows it's a bad superhero movie. So overall, it was a blast. I would see it again for sure. I was laughing my ass off through most of it. In terms of endearing, long, rememberable plot in about 10 years, there's none of that. In fact, I'm not sure how well the jokes will evolve either because it's very current in your time, but it is a much needed spoof because we haven't had one in so long. How's that for a review?
I'm already sold
That's
on
pretty
it.
good.
It sounds even more wonderful.
Yeah.
I was afraid it was going to be bad, but
I already have
Sounds-
tickets, so what can I
sounds
do?
like it's gonna
It
be
sounds
good.
like the whole thing was just, hey, I want to do something for the fans. That's what it sounds like the movie was.
Yeah. Oh no, it's 100% fan service. And like I said, it isn't a deep emotional plottering. It's literally they know it's a bad superhero movie, and so there's a lot of destruction, mayhem, speeding 'em up, and sexual jokes. That's about it.
Well, Deadpool is exactly the kind of character that could make that land. Hey, Herman. And
Yeah,
Christy.
hey Herman.
Hail, Mr. Hedge.
So did that ruin it
So-
for you at all, you guys? Because I know
No,
somebody in the
not at
audience
all.
was worried.
Not at all. I still have.
Yeah,
no
I
clue
already,
what
I already
happens.
listened to all the spoiler coverage out there, so.
But yeah,
King
definitely
Ball.
don't take kids and stay to the very end.
Hmm.
Awesome. Can't wait
How
to
is
see
the
it.
character creation on DC 20? Is it
That-
long or is it easy?
No, that's one area they need to flesh out a little bit more. That's for sure.
I am wondering though. I don't know. Okay, so there's some scenes where the CGI is amazing, and there is some where it's absolutely bad. But I can't tell if it was intentionally meant to be bad to make fun of the bad CGIs, or if they just ran out of time and left it. But that's the glory of the movie. You really can't tell.
So, King Bob, what do you mean that the character creation needs a bit of fleshing out? Is there too much to it, or is it too simple?
No, it could be overwhelming because it's completely different for one. But
Oh.
the page that they have for their character setup, I personally think is backwards because they do your attribute points and then your skill points and then your trade points and your languages. And then at the end, you're finally doing your classes and your background, which makes no sense to me. So
No. Are the classes tied to attribute points? 5e.
sort of. He's actually kind of gone out of his way to make sure that doesn't happen. So when he was explaining combat, he would say, if you're a fighter and you have the highest in might, you're fighting like someone who tries to bash something as hard as they can. If you have it in agility, you're more a finesse person, so you're like using a rapier and using skill. If you are in intelligence, you're fighting with your brain, so even though you're still using a sword, you're just outsmarting the person and stabbing them that way. So, not exactly, but there is some kind of, like, there are still skills that are in certain attributes, so you'll have to make sure that if you want to be good at that skill, you'll probably still want to have some attribute points there.
And then why would he put class in the last?
I don't know. That's what when I started building characters for my group, because I just basically just built their characters for them and then handing them the paper and said, here, we're going to try this. I did it backwards. I did the attribute points, and then I did ancestry, and then I did class, and then I went back and did all the skills and stuff. And that seemed to work way better.
You know what it sounds like to me?
Hmm.
You know what it sounds like to me? So
What's that?
from what I've heard from like first edition D&D, you do your attributes first, and that would determine, and your attributes race, and that would determine what of the classes you can pick, can even qualify for.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. It's like there's different kind of like methodologies to character creation just depending on the system. Like some systems, they'll have it where it's like you're just rolling for each stat, and from there it kind of determines like what your options are, what race or classes you can pick. Then there's kind of like the more 5th edition speed where it's the other way around. You choose and then you roll for everything.
Right, but I'm going off of what he's telling me, the way it wants you to roll up a character.
Right.
Sounds more like from what I know of first edition.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll have to take a look at it, honestly. It depends, because first edition, depending on what class you're looking at, it can be very restrictive. It just
Yeah.
depends.
I would say it's nowhere near as restrictive as first edition was.
I think
probably
Paladin
closer
is
to
the.
second.
I think
Probably.
Paladin was the most restrictive class in first edition, just because it's actually a little overpowered compared to the others. So the caveat was like, okay, you're going with an overpowered class. You've got to stick to a moral code, or you lose those benefits.
All right, hold up. How many classes are there?
Well,
Like, is
that's
it
the other thing.
standard?
It's still in beta, so he says there's going to be a paladin class, but there isn't one now. So we're still waiting on that. But I think there's about 10 or so.
What
I'd have to
class should
count.
Master Yoshi be? You know,
I thought you were going to do wizard. Although he's probably closer to a sorcerer, honestly,
you
because
can
his magic comes
multi-class.
from within, like a sorcerer.
Can you multi-class?
That is also something that he got rid of. He doesn't like the idea of multi-classing because he thinks it takes away from your level ability. But you can
my
take
God.
skills in other levels. So, yeah, that's the picture he sent me.
Here's Master Yoshi, not to be confused with Master Roshi, and here's his pet monkey, Darth Sidious.
This is going to be so much fun.
It
You should
looks
have made
like he has
bubbles.
the same
Bob.
butt.
That looks like it comes straight out of Berserk.
I want
King
bubbles
Bob.
in this game.
Yeah.
What is the difference between wizard and sorcerer in D&D?
So a
one
wizard
learns-
learns their spells, and they have it in like a book, so they can cast any spell that's in their book. So it's more like you learn these things. You don't actually have a natural ability of magic. You learn the magic through study and whatnot. Whereas a sorcerer, they have the magic imbued within their body type thing. So they're
Yeah,
just
they're a
calling
Giga
on their
Chad.
natural ability.
They're their own source.
Yeah.
They were just born with it, you know.
And then you
Maybe
have
it's Maybelline.
you also have warlock, which is someone who's borrowing power from someone else, basically, because you make a deal with the devil. Say, here, give me power, and
Yeah.
I'll worship you.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be deals with devils, and of course deals with the eldritch beings and shit.
The only subclass or whatever in for warlocks that makes no sense to me is where you're making a pact with an angel. I'm like, aren't you just a cleric at that point?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, the angel is
Or
not
is this like a new subclass?
Yeah, it was one that was
Is this a
added in
new
as an expansion.
Yeah.
I think that was something that was added either in
Technically,
Xanathar's Guide or one of the later ones.
Yeah, technically by 5e as the rules. I mean, unless your DM can stop it, but technically you're allowed to multi-class into fucking cleric, paladin, and fucking warlock, which makes no sense.
It's a little unique in 5th edition compared to a lot of other systems. This applies to older editions of D&D along with a lot of OSR games. It's you can multi-class, but you got to do it at character creation. After that, you can't really change it. So it's like you get the benefits of both classes, but leveling up takes longer.
Yeah, how is the leveling up? Is it
We don't know that
like
yet.
how is he doing?
That's still coming. So right now, it only if you look at your thing I sent you, the PDF for
Mhm.
the trial, it only has 2 levels. There's only 1st and 2nd level because they're still working the kinks out and whatnot.
Well, how has he said how he wants to do? Is he doing like gold XP?
I know there's going to be gold because he's discussed things are going to cost money. I'm assuming it's going to be XP based, but he could do whatever the new thing is that D&D does.
No. I'm meaning the gold is tied to the XP, so you get 50 gold, you got 50 XP.
Oh no, I don't know any system that does that.
Otter, which system? It was the older D&D, didn't it?
Say that one more time.
Gold XP.
Gold.
That's how you handle XP.
Oh, that was something that was there since 1st edition. That was a rule that Gygax had put in place. Gygax and I think Arneson as well. the idea in the earlier editions, the reason for that is the game was a hell of a lot deadlier. Like level 1, 2, and 3, you were not supposed to get into combat near as much just because you were a lot more likely to die. So how you leveled up was by getting treasure. And so he tied gold pieces to experience. So like every gold piece or coin you got, that would be an experience point each.
Yeah, that's old school. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there it's still used to a certain extent, but it's not quite in the same context. Like the next game system I actually kind of plan on using for a D&D like game is Castles and Crusades. They have it there as a suggestion for DMs, but they're also like, oh yeah, there's also experience for killing monsters, quest milestones, all of that stuff.
That does sound weird to me, though, that you could level up by getting money.
Yeah,
Well, keep in
it's
mind
a
also
it's a
old
bit
school
different.
D&D. Keep in mind with old school D&D, you're supposed to constantly be getting money to spend it, cycling it. You know, you don't just get to sit on it like a fucking dragon.
Why not?
Also in older D&D, you can get a lot of riches if you know what you're doing. Like
Or XP.
it's kind of there in the AD&D DM's guide. It's like it has suggestions for how much gold you should be handing out to your players, and it's like if they know what they're doing, they can level up a lot. So just so long as you're playing smart, you can quickly kind of like hop over that curve.
The death thing is another thing he did change in this, because I agree with him. 5th edition rules are completely stupid when it comes to the death thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So in this one, if you hit -3, you're gone. Doesn't matter. There's no saving crap. You're just done.
That's what I've heard, RH Snow. I haven't played any 1st edition or 2nd edition myself, but I've always heard that about mages. Being a magic user in 1st edition is rough, the earlier levels. It takes a while for you to actually be really capable. By the end of the game, you're the most powerful player, but for a large part of the game, there's not a whole lot you can really do.
Yeah, it's like
Sounds
the Black
kind of
Belt
like a
Final Fantasy
Metroidvania.
1.
Kind of.
You
So
start
I can
off
get a-
with this kit, and then by the end, you're overpowered.
So King Bob, I can get a Kamehameha spell, right?
I'll
Speaking of
say
that,
let's go for it.
speaking of that,
Hailstorm.
Is there the enlarged spell?
I'd have to go grab the thing and look. I don't remember what spells there are. There's not a lot of spells yet either. That's another thing that's going to come later.
Well, a large one is shouldn't be too hard to.
I mean,
just
Bob,
making something bigger.
if you're looking for an enlarged spell, I got an enlarged spell back here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
called
if
Viagra.
we
I
have the
cast
enlarged
Viagra.
spell, I want to do it exactly how Master Roshi does it in the show.
Well, he's also said you can pretty much take anything from 5th edition and toss it in there. So if there's a 5th edition spell, you can probably just use that.
Alright.
I've liked hearing the advice from a lot of like old school DMs playing 5th edition. They're like, 5th edition on its own right, it's not all bad. One way you could really ramp up the challenge if you want to challenge your players, just remove the 3 death save mechanic, and the game becomes a lot harder just by that alone. Removing that one mechanic, because 0 hit points means you're dead.
No saving death throws or nothing. You die after you get 0.
Yeah, that was how death worked in like 1st and 2nd edition for a while. It was you get to 0 hit points, your character's immediately dead. You have to get resurrected.
I wonder if you could recognize what edition I was playing by this. When I first started playing, it was early 90s, and we were using green character sheets. They were green and white.
3rd edition.
3rd. By the way, welcome to the screen, Stormcrow and James.
Hey,
Well,
old
I'm very
friend.
happy to know that.
James came in all quiet. I put him on, and he just stayed there like ninja in the corner, just waiting.
I wasn't being ninja. Everyone's in the middle of a conversation, another conversation.
We were listening to you, nerd. It's okay.
So
I think we
how-
all have that title here. Maybe Billy
how is
Bob's
the
back
armor
might not.
class work?
Say that again.
How's the armor class work?
So they have physical defense and magic defense. They're two different things.
Oh, come on. No Thaco?
No Thaco.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
What does that mean?
No.
It's actually not the worst if you once you wrap your head around it. From a glance, it's confusing. THACO is an acronym that translates to hit armor class 0. So
Okay. Yep. I think I do remember that now.
yeah,
I bet you
it's
had no math.
There's like a little shield in the mid upper center of the sheet that I used to write the number in, I think.
yeah. Rolling for attacks in a lot of the older editions was a fair bit different. For one, they had like attack matrix tables and everything, which I personally not the biggest fan of. It was like you were combining your bonus to hit along. What was it? You were combining your bonus to hit along with the enemy's armor class minus their THACO or something like that, and then it pretty much came up with a number you had to roll at or above, and that would determine whether you hit or missed.
Hi, AC.
Long story short, it sucked.
Yeah, it's one thing that I do. In general, I prefer ascending armor class. Just in general, it's a lot simpler. I think it's streamlined.
Honor.
You're not doing
Or-
a lot
or
of unnecessary math.
Or you can be
Mhm.
like the critical role one where you never miss.
Oh, no, that's not Critical Role. That's Matthew Colville's system where it's like,
Is it? Not that
Yeah.
critical role had the same thing.
no, I don't. Do they? I don't
Yeah, I
like
think it's
Critical
the
Role
same thing
system
where
from
you
what I
can
saw
never
of it.
miss.
Imagine this. Imagine a role-playing system where instead of rolling a d20 or a percentile die, you're rolling 2d12s and comparing them to each other, and then you're what is it? You're tracking the difference, whether it's positive or negative, good or bad. It's something
What?
I just don't like.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Like that sounds. Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm rolling 2d12s, and I'm comparing the lower number to the higher number here. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
so
saying?
you're rolling 2d12s for a lot of your actual rolls, and one is good, and one is positive, the other is negative. And so it's like, what is it, like hope versus despair? If one is higher, that determines like whether it's a success or a fail. You end up storing the difference, and that's like a resource.
Wouldn't
Oh,
the
yeah, you're
negative?
talking about the critical role one
When-
where
Yeah, it's the critical role
Upkeep,
system they've
yeah.
got.
Yeah, you want to keep up your fucking dice, your whatever point that you can use or some shit.
I guess that tells you a thing or two about the system. Is just me explaining it. I can just hear this awkward silence, and I'm like, yeah, I'm about as excited for it too.
I mean, wouldn't it make more sense for the DM to roll the negative die to determine how, the despair instead of the player?
I don't know.
It
I don't
sounds
know.
overcomplicated already.
Yeah, it's overcomplicated. That's my big gripe. And you're also using like the two least commonly. You're using the most least commonly used die in the game. Like, it's not too often that you're rolling a d12, unless you've got like a great axe or something like that.
Right.
Or
That's the only thing I can think of
special
off the top of my
table.
head.
I don't know.
But no.
Critical Role has been kind of dumb these past couple of days.
How many monsters does he have so far for you to face, or is it?
Trying
Are
to
they
remember what I
easily
saw.
convertible to other systems and monster manuals?
Kind of. Everything is much lower in this system. So, like, your starting hit points are going to be somewhere around, like, 9. Which for most people is like, really? Okay. But you're generally only doing, like, 1, 2, or 3 points of damage per turn. It's rarely and most of the time it's going to be 1. That's another thing he changed. You're not rolling for damage anymore. Your damage is based on how much you beat their physical defense by. So if you match their defense or you're close to it, it's only 1 damage. But if you beat it by 5, it's 2 damage. And then every 5 it goes up another damage point.
Are you always hitting them, or can you miss?
No, you can still miss. They have a
Okay.
physical defense.
Okay.
I think a lot of YouTube
So you're
creators-
rolling it. You're rolling against their physical defense. If you hit, then you have to roll again for.
No. So
No.
let's give you an example. So you got a goblin and it has a physical defense of like 12. So you roll your dice. If you roll a 12, you hit, and he takes 1 damage. You roll an 11, you miss, he doesn't take any damage. You roll a 16, you hit, and he takes 2 damage instead of 1 damage.
Remember how we did raises in Savage Worlds, Billy? Where it's like every
Mhm.
raise you add another d6 of damage.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that. It's just every 5 points you succeed, you're dealing another point of damage.
Mm.
Or succeed.
Well, I'm not
in
going to be the
shared
one getting
attack.
hit, you fuckers. I'm a goddamn sorcerer, wizard, whatever the fuck, Master Yoshi.
I'm
Okay.
probably going to be a thief. An otter
there's-
With
thief.
his benevolent companion, Darth Sidious.
There's some fun things you can do as a wizard, though. There's if you use a fire shield, it's not an actual shield. It's more like a ball of fire that goes around you and gives you extra hit points. So whenever they damage you and take that hit point away, it actually hurts them, as well as taking away the hit points. And they also have a lightning one that does the same thing. If you get hit, they take 2 points of lightning damage for hitting you.
That fire shield sounds pretty cool.
So what
It's a-
happens when I throw a fireball in a small room?
You're gonna kill everyone.
Well, they don't have fireball yet, per se.
What
But
happens when I shoot my Kamehameha in a small room?
I gotta figure out what spell that's gonna be. But it's actually one of the things you can do is change your spells. Unlike, if you cast Fireball at 6th level, it's gonna do so much damage in so much area, and there's not a thing you can do about it. In this one, it's more, I cast this spell that costs this much, but I want to amplify it so I can add things to it. Or if you don't want to amplify it because
Well,
you're
I
in a
can
small
charge
room,
my Kamehameha?
exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
Can we do reuse Hadouken?
That's probably the normal Kamehameha. It's Hadouken.
So
How about,
Right.
how about get him to jump in the air and do the Hurricane Hick shouting Tatsumaki, whatever the hell Ryu says?
Yeah, I'm not saying that one.
so
I have
King
to
Bob.
read it because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it
So,
is a
King Bob,
Japanese
quick
word.
question.
Go ahead.
Just oh wait a minute, hold on.
Hail, Mr. AC
My
Pritchard.
boy.
What's
You're on
happening?
mute.
You're on
You're
mute.
on mute.
You're on mute.
What up, guys? I'm not on mute anymore. I heard D&D talk and I came. I just felt it. Felt it in the ether.
Looks
I
like you
was
stole the
scrying,
bus from
And
Bassoff.
Roll a charisma saving throw.
Yeah, this is my short bus. Yeah.
Pritchard, how you been, man?
AC.
It's been a while.
Good. Yeah, no, we gotta have you at the again, Stormcrow.
So, Gino, on the how do
Well,
y'all
wait,
calculate the weight
Stormcrow had a
here?
question first. Let him go ahead.
Okay. So are there like DC-20 online creators yet, or character sheets that I can fill out?
Yeah,
And
I got a character sheet that's a PDF that's fillable, and they actually have the things that I sent you guys, the playtest rules. That's for free on their website, so anybody can download it.
Oh, what are you sending? I didn't see it yet.
Here, let me just do this.
You can also look on their site. It's on there.
Can we
Thank
put
you.
a character sheet on screen, or is this something that's not supposed to be public yet?
Well, considering it's on their free section, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
see why they would give a crap.
All right. So if you want to share the screen and put it up, I can put it up there.
Oh, that's a link to the download. So if anyone wants to download it, let me see.
I'm gonna
Maybe the
be
character sheet isn't on the free section.
I'm gonna be bringing the conversation on a brief tangent. Billy, what do you think about the idea? This is something that I saw in Castles and Crusades. I haven't seen another system do it yet. What do you think of a class and a half? Have you heard of it?
Class.
Billy might be away.
Billy stepped away for a moment.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, the idea is that you've got a main class and then you've got a secondary class instead of doing a full multi-class.
That is the
Oh,
system.
That's cool.
That is exactly what he's talking about.
that
Oh,
sounds
okay.
reasonable then.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
like
work full time in construction. And I tend bar in the evening. It's
Well, the example he gave was, and people who play D&D would understand this. He said you have like a fighter, that's your class, and then once you get the ability to take another, I think they call them traits. In his example, he said, I really like the rage ability of a barbarian, so I'm going to take that. So now he's a fighter with rage, which would just be disgusting.
so
Disgusting in a good way or disgusting in a bad
In
way?
a good way. A
That'd be
fighter
pretty-
with
that'd be
rage,
pretty
that's
gross.
awesome.
Yeah.
can I be a sorcerer with rage?
I don't see why not.
But
Can you
fighters,
be a
fighters-
virgin with rage?
fighter's one of those classes where it's really tempting for any other class to multi-class into fighter just for the action surge, among other things.
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
need
yeah.
that in this system because anyone can action surge.
Yeah.
You have 4 actions, so whatever.
Ooh,
You do what you want.
all
Fifth
right.
edition fighters are
I do
really
what I want.
freaking good.
Oh yeah, I already have like a half health fighter in Rondo's game actually, and he has yet to kill me, and it pisses him off to no end. You can ask Rondo this later, King Bob, if you want. I just get nothing but nat 20s on the internet or on live rolls, and that just pisses him off. Like, I'm not kidding. You think I'm lying? No. I swear it. Just nat 20s, and he basically just rage quit one day.
Hmm.
It's funny.
Animation joined us. I almost missed that. How you doing, Animation?
Hey, oh, good sir. So
I just
Stormcrow,
went over and scrolled back through the chat. I'm like, oh, somebody slipped in. I didn't catch it.
are you and Rondo using 5th edition or is it another system?
5th edition.
Okay. I
I've
was
been
just curious.
really curious to go for 3rd edition because everyone says like that's the best D&D edition ever made, and I've been playing also Planescape Torment. Any of you guys ever heard about that one?
Yeah, I haven't played a ton of it, but I do really like Planescape Torment. It's a really fun game. Very different for a CRPG.
Yeah.
Where was Bob? Bob, are you going to share a character sheet? Is that what you were going to do?
Well, I did the free downloads page, but the character sheet's not on there, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I looked over
they
and I
would-
couldn't find it.
I don't know
Let me
if they
see
would
if
be
I
okay
can
with that
show
one
it.
or not.
I can probably show it. One
Say
second.
it's a character sheet. I can't really expect them or think that they would care because it's just a character sheet.
Am I pulling up the
This
character
one
sheet?
here. This one here is for me.
Ooh, that looks great.
Yeah, this is the first example I made for my upcoming one shot that I'm planning. Shout out to Otter. He reminded me that I pulled for it and everything. So, but yeah, this is the main character of my free content that I just kind of slapped something together for it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to be an ongoing thing. So, I just kind of pieced together some things that I liked, if that makes sense.
Ooh,
Not anything
nice.
official, just something we can play for a one shot. I had this, he's kind of based off of the halfling character I used to play. That's where you get the luck points here and then the lucky ability. I always thought that would be cool to combine with like the, what is it? The unending endurance or whatever from the orcs when they drop down to 0. They go to 1 HP instead or something like that. So he's a stubborn guy. I decided to kind of go with that. Kept his HP low, I was reasonable with the stats. You know, he's a kid, so.
Looks good.
But
Wait,
yeah.
you play a kid?
Nothing wrong
I'm
with
not
that.
playing. My wife will be playing a kid. This is the main character of my story.
Okay.
We're doing
okay.
we're doing a one shot in the world. I let everybody choose between all my worlds. They chose spirit animals, so
Okay, that's good.
that's
Well,
where we're going.
just
And I decided to make it interactive with you. Yeah.
just want to give you a heads up. In my games, kids die pretty quickly. If you're an adventurer.
Yeah, I wouldn't use this in any other game. No.
And Miss Snow here represented the halflings too. I'm very proud of you, ma'am. Good job.
Hey,
Did
playing a
definitely-
halfling is
You do a half.
so much fun in 5th edition.
Oh, yeah.
What sheet did you bring up, Autumn?
Depends on what you're doing.
It's funny
I've
enough
also got the
because-
character
You
sheet
do-
pulled up, Wrangler. There we go.
Oh hell yeah! Good time.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that looks real pretty.
Yeah, so he kind of
That is.
put a couple of things together because he thought Constitution was kind of a wasted thing. So Constitution is now split between Might and Agility, and then Wisdom, same thing. It's more Intelligence and Charisma. So there's only 4 stats now.
Nice.
So if you get poisoned, you don't make a Constitution check. You made a Might check.
It probably depends on if you have medicine or not, but generally, yeah.
I like how it shows your action points and also your jump distance. That's something you always have to look up in 5th edition if you're trying to see how far you can jump. It's never written down, and you got to do you always have to do like a bit of math to actually do it. I forget what the actual number is. It's like, what is it, like your
It's
movement
half your
speed?
half your movement speed and something else.
Yeah,
had to do it.
it's something obscure. You always have to look it up.
So
I think I changed it because I got sick of it, and I said it was based on if you had athletics or acrobatics, and if you had one of those, you could use that, and it would give you your what is it? Your speed was your distance. If you had those two. If you didn't, then I said it was half, and that's all I did.
So is ancestry your race?
Yes.
All right. I was curious about that.
So the ancestry is kind of interesting the way that he does it. You can really have as many as you want, but the more that you have, the worse it is for you, sort of. But you actually get to pick the traits that your ancestry gives you based on points that you spend, and some of them are negative because they're actually a hindrance to you. So you can customize your characters way more in this game. Is that confusing at all?
The inventory.
Hey, Wrangler,
Right
can
now,
you
there's
mind-
not much in inventory, so I wouldn't even worry about it for now. It's just
So
pretty much weapons and armor. That's about it.
It always feels
I
like
can
every system
all
has their own
around-
solution to encumbrance or whatever. Some
So I
get
can all around,
really
like,
bookkeeping
dead body.
heavy. Others are pretty elegant about it. It just depends.
So how many dead bodies can I shove in my inventory? You know.
We'll get you a
All of
bag
them.
of dead body holding.
You know what? That needs to be an item. Write that down, Otter.
What is it?
It needs to be. It's not just a bag of holding, but it's the only thing it holds infinitely is dead bodies.
Well,
Oh,
there
yeah.
is.
That is a really weird version of Hammer Space.
Well, there already is a.
Bag of corpse holding.
Oh man, what is it called?
Tim
There is a thing.
Allen.
Isn't that called
Hey.
a body bag?
Well, I can't
Y'all
remember
ever
what it's
play-
called. Dang it! There is
As
an
far
item
as
in
Forgotten
D&D where
Realms
you
is
can.
concerned, I agree, Tim Allen.
Well, you can cast.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's-
Forgotten Realms
You
is
could
so much
you
better.
could cast a. Yeah, the body bag of holding, exactly. Animation overload. You could have a wizard cast the same spell that's used to enchant the bag of holding on a body bag, or whatever. Body bag is actually really smart because as when I played my wholesome, good aligned. Well, and don't get me wrong, he was trying to be good aligned necromancer. One of the things he would do is like collect bodies, So he'd have
So,
friends.
so
So
hold
he
up,
could have
hold up.
friends around.
You're
And
trying to say necromancer and good aligned,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sir.
yeah, it can be
Sir.
done.
he was trying.
Can be done, Billy. Not all one are evil like you. Okay.
Well, is this necromancer named Little Nicky or something?
No, it's Bone Scale. He was a turtle pirate. He was like a turtle captain, and his whole crew
Nice.
was skeletons. But yeah, he would essentially get the bones, right? And if you have all the bones together, bones fit easily in a little bag of holding. So I'm telling you right now, that bag of holding idea in a body bag is just a good idea for necromancers. How many bodies can my bag of holding hold is just a great question.
Hold up. But here's the real question: did you get them to sign a consent form to be turned into like your fodder?
No.
Oh,
It was a gray area. It's like Raiders. It's like Raiders. It's like
what happened?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You just
that
raise
so?
them and ask him real quick.
You could. Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Will you join my
Being
army?
a necromancer is really fun, to be honest.
Wait, hold up. Aren't you forcing the soul back in its body when you
I
do
think
that?
you're cutting out, or I am. One of the two.
You are.
Oh, my bad.
King Bob, aren't you forcing a body or forcing a soul back in its body? Unwillingly?
It probably depends on which necromancy rules you're going by, but generally speaking, no. A reanimated corpse does not have a soul, so you don't have to worry about that.
It's more that you're
Right,
just
right.
using magic to string it along like a puppet, I think.
Yep.
I
and
think
I would
certain ones can, though, like a Lich King, I'm pretty sure can actually put a soul back in a body. But it's been a while
But
since I've
there's-
played with that crap.
There's
Sorry
a whole
about
bunch
that.
of nuances
Computer
like that.
thing.
Yeah. There's ways you could get super legit with it, but my dude was only ever puppeting, and he always tried to release them when it was safe. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to like lose control of your zombies, for example, and then they go attack a town or something. So that's part of the reason why he literally had a skeleton crew on his ship. You know, nobody liked him because he's the weird guy. That's a necromancer. And
Well,
so,
also he smelt because he had a bag of holding full
Yeah.
of rotting corpses.
Yeah.
I
as
think
he
that
did.
may have been more of the contributing factor.
Hey Wrangler, do you mind posting that page on the private chat real quick? I've been trying to find the page to download, but it won't let me. I
What
can't find
page?
it on me.
I
If
could
you're
probably
talking
just
about the
send it
one
to
on
you.
screen, that wasn't me.
Oh.
So, how do you might and agility are split between your constitution and stuff like that? How are you determining hit points and stuff?
It's based on might. It's
Based on just might.
no, it's let me see if I remember it. It's 6 plus character level plus might, I believe, is what your starting hit points are.
That makes sense.
Oh.
I do like that. I've seen that a lot with a lot of OSR systems where they'll tie a lot of your stats to character level. I'm like, I actually really like that because whenever you level up,
So-
it's a base power up across the board.
Well, King Bob's
So,
comments got me thinking here. Opposite of necromancy, he says liferomancy. It got me
So-
thinking. Wait, what's necro? Isn't that Latin? Maybe so. Would it be like vitamancy, perhaps?
So how is this is based on mana points, right? That's what I'm seeing on the sheet.
Some
So
skills
it's
are,
not
yeah.
spell slots. That shit.
No, there's spell slots too.
Where are they on the sheet?
I don't think they're
Is there
actually
another
on the sheet, and that might be. I did a lot of stuff on its. When I make D&D characters, I always do this, so this is nothing new for me. I have like your character sheet that has basic information, but everything I need to know that's detailed, I put on a separate sheet of paper. So it's much easier for me that way. So that's all I did when I made a wizard, and I put all the spells, so the cantrips are at the top and the spells are at the bottom, and they're all on its own sheet of paper. But that's just how I do things.
Bad Sauce asks, "Why are necromancers so jacked?"
They work out a lot.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, they probably don't eat very much. They're just chilling, doing research all the time. They just look jacked, I think.
It's all the deadlifting. There, I was waiting for the punchline.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, there it is.
What's the favorite
I try to
necromancer character you guys have come across?
That's a good question.
What's the what?
Favorite necromancer character you've come across?
I really like the ones I made, but aside from mine, I'm gonna have to think for a second.
Yeah. How can you not like your own now?
It's so fun. I had the two. There's the skeleton turtle captain or whatever that I just told you guys about,
Yeah.
and the other one was another turtle because I don't know why they're so fun to play as necromancers, but it was. It was a spore druid with mushrooms growing on his shell, and he had like pale milky white eyes, and it's like, is the mushroom running the show, or am I talking to the turtle? Like, who's in charge here? You know what I mean?
Pritchard. I got a rhyme for your boy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Necro.
Yeah. That's a good idea. And then they all just bicker.
I know a lot of necromancer type of characters.
Well, I played one. I didn't have fun with it. The other guy did, because he kept grabbing my skeletons and throwing them at people.
Yeah. You got to make an agreement. Like with my spore druid, he was kind of amoral, because is the mushroom running the show or is he? Like, is he all there? I named him Legion because he's like a hive mind, and I kind of, he like the spores were controlling him, right? So he would shamelessly devour bodies down to the bones. Like he would, he had like his infestation spell, which I rationalized as like beetles or ants or something, and then like acid splash and stuff. Yeah.
So King Bob, can I pick someone up and fucking launch them at the enemy?
Are you a barbarian?
Yeah, you probably could. It would be a strength check or might check.
Yeah.
Would they get an advantage since they're flying at him with their sword, stabbing into the enemy?
So Gino.
No, it's a pretty easy thing to dodge someone flying through the air.
But if I throw them really fast,
or if you throw them behind their back so they can't see it, that's what I would do.
So Gino, does this loophole in combat also work in DC 20? Because I've heard this in the past in 5th edition. Theoretically, even though it's one turn, what you could do is line up a bunch of villagers back to back.
Oh God!
A bonus action, all it takes is like you can do something small, like say handing a rock from one person to another.
This is the first.
And so a round only takes 6 seconds, but everybody's taking their round all at once. So technically, by the end of that line, that rock is going at supersonic speed.
Yeah. Allegedly.
And that is how we defeated the ancient Lord.
Yeah, that's how you defeat anything.
No. Breaking physics disqualifies you from the game.
Well, see, that's exactly the point, though. That I think it's in there somewhere in the book when I was reading. It says, like, you should not let your characters do things that are physically impossible. Like, if they wrap a big chain around a building and try and move it, you don't say, okay, give me a might check. You go, no, you can't do that, stupid.
Oh, that's no fun.
Well, what if you get 100 peasants to do it?
And here's a simple solution, too. You let them burn all their turns passing that shit around, and then at the end of the round, they're all looking at you like, and you're like, what? You just passed it around. That's all that happened. Is it my turn now? And then you attack them.
King. Hold on. How about this?
You could have like a Hadron Collider just by villagers and rocks.
Oh my God, Maji! He's not dead. Holy crap! I thought you gave him a heart attack by messing with the skull.
Man, Gino, hold on. Okay.
No,
How about?
I checked in on him. He was okay. He's just going through life.
Who needs?
How about?
I didn't kill him.
I want to use my turn to grab a chain and try to strangle a giant with it. If I have a good enough strength roll, can I do that instead of move a building?
Yeah, you could do that. That would be a grapple check. That's grappling.
Okay.
Could Princess Leia do it in a steel bikini?
Oh, there you go.
That's a grapple check with advantage.
With advantage? I thought he was going to say disadvantage. No, that's
so.
Hell no, you're distracting everyone. You got advantage.
Gina.
Yeah.
How good would Darth Sidious be at pickpocketing stuff?
Ooh, I would say probably pretty good because monkeys are kind of notoriously well. It depends on what monkey you're talking about. Like the ones in.
Do I have to show the monkey again? All right.
I just
Well, I mean, the
imagine
specific-
your Master Roshi sorcerer saying to the person next to him, "Have you ever heard of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" All the while he's just picking your pockets.
Listen, this is Darth Sidious. He's a really good monkey. You know.
Yeah, he looks just like those ones I'm thinking of, but I can't remember the names. That are
Jesus.
they're trained to steal things from tourists in
Is
like
this one of
India
the-
and stuff.
Is this one of the people from that Olympic performance or whatever? I couldn't
Oh
tell.
God!
No,
Don't remind me
that's,
of that,
what's her
Richard.
name?
Please.
Oh,
The
good
former
grief.
Chicago mayor.
God.
What was her
Mayor
name?
B. Lori
Beetlejuice.
Life.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. That's right.
Listen,
What was
Pritchard. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to think about that because if I think about what's happening in Paris, I want to punch a wall. So let's not think about the trainings here, okay?
Yes. Anyway, back
God
to
knows-
OP D&D characters. What is the
God
most
knows
OP
D&D
character?
is full of those guys right now.
Right.
What was the question?
What's the most OP D&D character you guys have played, or rather, your favorite OP one? Like,
Oh, my
yes,
favorite
it's
one's
OP.
definitely not OP. That's the problem. I had
Well, that's
so
my
much
Hobbit.
freaking fun playing a
Yeah.
damn brownie paladin. Couldn't do a freaking thing. Most worthless character I ever made. But holy frick, was it fun!
Dude, that was my divination hobbit. He had luck, just enough divination wizardry to do the portent ability, you know, so I could like turn crits into crit successes and shit like that. Essentially, I was going out of my way to make everything about him luck. So he was like 4 or 5 different classes, and terrible at any one of them. But I was literally just trying to be that lucky hobbit walking around. You know what I mean?
So
And
you were playing
You're not
Willow
worthless.
back when he was good.
Yeah. Basically.
I didn't get to play this actually on a sheet, but on the Baldur's Gate 3, I made a padlock. It was I think Pact of the Blade, Warlock, and the Oath of Vengeance or whatever the fuck on the Paladin.
Oh fuck yeah!
You
That's a good
Have
combo.
a great night, Christy.
So, my highest stat, of course, is charisma. However, since Paladin also goes on a lot, it spells are charisma. Yeah, on Pact of the Blade, you can talk to your sword to use charisma rolls for your attacks and damage and shit.
Oh yeah, and you can't be disarmed because you just fucking summon your blade again. There's a whole bunch of reasons. You can Pact of the Blade. You can do a poor man's smite. So it's essentially like a paladin because warlocks are petty like that and they have to do everything better than everybody else, just to a lesser degree.
Keep in mind, I was also a paladin, so I had access to all the smites.
Yes.
High
Then you
charisma,
just-
smite.
Yeah. You sprinkle some sorcerer in there and just start converting all of your spells into like whatever you need to smite, level 1, whatever. Because each warlock spell is as high level as it can possibly be. So you just
Yes.
divide those up into level 1s for smiting, and you just sit there and smite all day.
If I remember correctly, I still had some level 1 spell slots for my paladin, but I also had my 2 level warlock spell slots.
I'm sorry. There's something that
Plus,
sounded
also
like
had access to
contradictory there.
Blast,
What's
which is broken.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So I can
I'm listening to all this, but something about that sounds a little contradictory, a little broken.
yeah, well, that's what I
It
mean.
is.
Yeah,
Oh, it
tell
gets
me
more-
about it.
Did,
It gets
did,
more broken, Wrangler.
did I hear Billy Bobsack playing a paladin?
Yes.
That's
I'm-
not
Oh,
even
the paladin
considering the
warlock,
paladin
bro.
warlock.
The character had schizophrenia. One time it's good, and the other time it's bad.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. Play a schizophrenic, and you occasionally have to roll to see which personality's out, and all the personalities have completely different character sheets with different abilities. And
That
I
is
actually
too
did
much
play
work,
a
man.
character like that for a one-shot one time. I was a bugbear schizophrenic. And
What the
he
fuck?
alternated between thief and barbarian. Yeah, it didn't end well for him. He got turned into a sloth by the end.
Aw.
As you do.
Well, real quick on my favorite character that I played so far is a D&D 5e with Rondo. His name is Amleth Ragnos, a half-elf fighter bard. And I'm not going to bore you guys with the adventure I have with him. Just know that I infiltrated a cult, killed the cult leader, got with a girl, and took away the money. And
awesome.
literally,
Sounds like you got the good ending.
Yeah,
And-
you unlocked a good ending. Yeah.
one dungeon also, I literally
call it a
just
happy
rolled
ending.
nothing but persuasion and charisma, and I beat the final boss by talking him down.
That's yeah.
Holy crap. Next time the big green guy is going around smashing things, you might want to go chat with him.
I will break out the lute, and I'm gonna start singing some nice, soothing tunes, man.
So your favorite was a silver tongue. Basically, you were charismatic.
Oh,
There's that whole-
absolutely.
There's that whole meme going around. I don't know if it's still a thing plaguing the D&D community, or rather the tabletop community, but the lusty bard. The bard
Oh,
that
dude,
just,
that's exactly what I
Oh,
was.
I seduced
yeah.
the dragon.
yeah,
that's
like you just
exactly
try to
what I
bump
was
everything.
playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I say that's not new. That's been for a long time.
AC.
Slightly off topic, but Stormcrow said something to me the other day that had me laughing my ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how bad Rings of Power is, why don't they just go for broke and at least make it entertaining? And we'll have Sauron start singing. They'll break out into dance while he leads the orcs in singing "Where There's a Whip, There's a Way."
Where there's
Yep.
a whip, there's a way.
Such a good
Where
song.
there's a way, there's a way. Where
Just
there's
imagine
a
Amazon's musical number version of it. That would be so bad. It'd be hilarious.
Sam
I'd
casually starting a race war.
I mean, you know what? At this point, why not, guys? Are we expecting a good fucking season 2 out of Rings of fucking Power?
No, no, you crazy? So,
Anyway,
Oh,
before
wait.
we get sidetracked, I think AC, were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, okay, so like, yes, that the lusty bard or the lusty charismatic person, right? Because you could have a warlock play the lusty bard too, and just try to fuck everything. It's essentially just like the necromancer is trying to collect skeletons and bodies in a weird way. The lusty bard is trying to have a different kind of body count, if you know what I mean. But
Well,
they're
Keep
on
in
to
mind
something.
they have to do with Paladin because one of their things is Christmas as well.
Yeah,
It's actually one of my favorite things. For all its faults, Baldur's Gate 3, I really like this about that game. It lets you play the lusty character. It just fully embraces it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a surprising amount of dialogue options that let you lean into that. And it's fucking glorious.
Well, here's the thing: does it actually beat everything? Because I
Not
can see
everything.
right. I can see the logic because it's like, yes, you can charm almost anything, but then what you got to do is you got to start sending like golems after the team or something, so that they can't
Oh,
fuck them.
well, AC, technically, you can seduce a golem too in
Oh, can
5e.
you?
Yes.
Oh,
You got to compliment their mineral structure and like, oh wow, your dwarven masters really rounded out your chest area, you know, and just
I would
roll
say
a
you could try.
charisma from there.
Otter.
Yeah.
You know what? That one clip we have, I'm fixing to play. I don't think I played it live.
Oh god.
Did I?
No, you haven't.
All right,
One of-
I'm gonna play it. This is basically Otter's experience. He's the little black cat. It's his experience
Oh.
every time we do a one shot.
Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome.
God, I love that clip. I play
Oh
it every day.
god.
Every time they just breeze through a combat encounter I spent 3 hours working on.
Yeah, I just
Otter,
set off.
listen.
Oh, that
Be
reminds me,
grateful
I
to
have to
play
play
D&D
this
with
clip
you.
real quick because I got to record it back onto my computer later. So let me just get this over with. We're at what, hour 15? Okay.
Jewish space lasers.
Where's the button?
There we go. I can't re-download it off of here, and I accidentally deleted the original off my computer, and I
And
need to get
since
this off
Christian's-
here.
And since Christian's not here, I definitely have to play this clip.
I had to pull something out of my butthole, and that was the best I could come up with.
That brought him great honor.
AC, just to let you know, Kahuna and Otter and Billy here made a What Call Cthulhu one shot 2 days ago. And let me tell you something. Kahuna stole the fucking show.
Still technically ongoing. We haven't finished it yet.
No,
But-
Rick Nikita needs to call the lawyers while they're getting assaulted by fucking demon dogs.
Kahuna in real life is like a strength build with like a side focus of charisma.
Well, he's playing a fucking 6'5" German.
He's a paladin.
demon.
He's a fucking paladin in real life. He's a strength and charisma. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about anything else with a paladin, right?
Well, there's holiness. You gotta have holiness to be a paladin, bro.
I would argue Constitution just to be able to concentrate. Right.
True.
Yeah.
Actually, King Bob, just a real question. Can you be like an evil paladin in DC 20?
Yes.
So I can be a paladin for Ball or Merkel then.
Yeah, that's the first thing you choose when you choose a. Well, they don't have paladin yet, but if you were going to do that, you could be a cleric, and the first thing you choose is whether you want to be a good cleric or a bad cleric.
So wouldn't that in kind of a warlock and evil?
Not necessarily. You're just getting your power from a god. That's all.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
so warlocks can be good. Be aligned good.
It gets a little confusing whenever you're comparing clerics, paladins, and warlocks. A lot of them are kind of similar in how they're getting their powers. It's just minor differences.
I don't think there might not even be a warlock in this. I think what he did was make it a sorcerer and a warlock are the same thing. And then when you choose sorcerer, you choose where you get your power from, and one of those options is getting it from a evil demon. So it's warlock-like.
Right. Well, the way I look at it is like the reason you would even differentiate between warlock and paladin is because warlock is a very business-like deal. So like the warlock can hate his boss, right? But there's no universe where the paladin hates his boss,
right?
And if you get a dark paladin, yeah, it's very warlock-like. But the difference is the paladin is a volunteer. And he is loving every second of it, even though he's an evil paladin working for an evil guy. He is trying to serve that fucking demon or whatever is giving him power.
Yeah, but a warlock can clarify with that too, with them intentionally seeking out said power from being.
Oh yeah, they could be willing and all that, but like doesn't have to like the demon, right?
Right. Think of it as literally a deal with the devil. Just because you made the deal with the devil doesn't mean you like the devil.
Right.
You just needed power for some reason. Maybe it's to defend your family. That's a good thing. So you said, okay, give me power.
The differences in the classes, at least in my opinion, they make more sense if you're tying them more to alignment. Like cleric, it's just whatever alignment that god is that your character is serving. Like paladin is any lawful alignment, and then a warlock, generally speaking, is evil or maybe neutral, more often than not. I know there's exceptions to that in a lot of games, but like by default rules, that feels like the best way you can justify how they're different.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm about to head out to sleep because I work tomorrow pretty early, but I'm very happy to see you guys again, especially you, Pritchard. It's been a while. I'm sorry. Life really just got in the way with me.
Hey, same brother, and it was good seeing you. Love you, man. All the best. My son wishes the best to you.
I think it would be fun to actually force the warlocks to, like you set up like basically a table of this is what your pack requires of you to complete, and you get punished if you don't complete whatever you agreed upon.
Well, if I'm not a complete lazy bastard, I could walk out that door and like 10 more feet, and there's my 3.5 or my 5th edition books right there. 3.5 are in storage.
Yeah, but 5th edition, there's actually no requirements. Like, you're not required to do anything with your pack.
I think a lot of it just comes down to the DM, what the DM ends up ruling themselves. Like, there's nothing in the actual rules, though, that says.
But that's what I'm saying. It would actually be cool if that's the way you go about it with warlocks.
So, King, before I leave, I want to ask you, what time and date do you want me to show up for the game? And
We don't know yet, man. We still gotta make characters and stuff. But I
Okay.
think probably a Sunday is gonna work the best for most people. So probably on a Sunday.
Okay. And just to ask you, I'm thinking of playing like maybe a werewolf fighter barbarian.
Yeah.
Does,
I see
does
no
that
problem
work?
with that. Yeah, they
Does
have
the-
a thing for ancestry. That's the last one. It's called like beast ancestry or something like that.
Okay,
So
you know
that-
what? I
Why
take
you play a furry? Just like
All right. You know what? I take it back. I take it back.
boy.
I want to play. I think only Pathfinder does this. Basically, a swordsman that can shoot energy out of his sword. What is that called?
That would just be channeling, wouldn't it?
A magus?
I think it's a specific Pathfinder class. Like-
sword, maybe.
Like
I
a,
have-
a lot of Pathfinder is like one gigantic expansion on 3.5 at D&D, just with a
Pretty
lot of
much.
bells and whistles added.
Listen,
Would you have
basically,
to
I'm
be
saying
some kind of
when
mage in D&D so you could like channel your energy through the weapon?
Well, you could probably do it with the Spellblade class. They have a class specifically for a person that uses a sword and magic at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I'm gonna play a full-on fucking anime character from
I
Bleach.
thought that would have been like a dual class mage fighter.
Well, it kind of is, but that it's like its own class that has its own thing called Spellblade. That's what it is.
Cool. I had never
Well,
heard of that before.
We'll see. I'll make a
it's in the
character soon. If I have any questions, I'll just ask you on the Discord. As for all that, all of you, please have a good night. Stay safe. And Otter,
Yeah,
I better see some characters die in Call of Cthulhu, man. They're
I
making some-
promise nothing one way or the other.
We can't die when we have Edna mode on our side.
Just so long as everybody's playing reasonably smart and the dice are on their side, they may all live. We'll see.
He's just
You
also
got
said that
Nick
he's smart.
Ricada as a player, Otter.
I mean, true.
So to answer Tim
Have a
Allen's
great night,
question-
Storm.
Yeah. Good night, Storm.
Have a good night, Stormcrow.
Right.
Pathfinder,
Night Storm.
Pathfinder is what D&D should have always been. It's just a better system, in my opinion.
Which system do you like better? D&D or
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder?
It's a certain style of D&D, but from what I've heard, it's a very balanced system on top of that. There's a reason why a lot of people swear by Pathfinder.
Well, they do a lot of things that are more logical, whereas like D&D, the higher level things go, it's just we get more hit points. That's basically all that happens the higher things are, which is kind of stupid. Whereas Pathfinder, there's a lot more. Okay, you're actually better at dodging now. You're better at attacking now. That kind of stuff, instead of just getting more hit points.
I think the big thing that will turn off some players to Pathfinder is it's a crunchier system than like 5th edition or some of the more lightweight systems out there.
When you
But
say crunchier, do you mean things are like a little tighter? Or?
it's a bit more math heavy. There's
Yeah.
more roles involved.
Ah.
Yeah, some of that is a byproduct of 3rd edition 3.5 because 3.5 was pretty heavy on number crunching. Pathfinder just expands on a lot of stuff that 3.5 started. That's kind of the reason why there. But another thing that Pathfinder has is its own setting. Like I think the default setting for D&D anymore is Forgotten Realms. With Pathfinder, they've got their setting. What is it, Galarian? It's a pretty cool setting. I really
Yeah,
like
that
it for the
sounds
most
right.
part. You could kind of argue it's a bit more Michael Moorcock compared to Forgotten Realms. There's a lot more like it's a much more chaotic world, but it's really fun. If you kind of want a taste of the Pathfinder system without like needing to get a group together, you can try some of the Pathfinder CRPGs out there. It's like Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous. Those both use like 1st edition Pathfinder. Pretty solid games.
Yeah, Kingmaker's pretty good.
Oh,
I recommend that one.
Gina.
Yo.
On Otter's next when we do another D&D one shot, we got to bring back your orc bard.
Oh yeah.
Tim Allen asks, asks, there's a Pathfinder game I've been looking at on Steam called Kingmaker. Anyone with thoughts?
I recommend it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
haven't completed it, but it's a really long game. That's the reason why. It'll last you up to like 70 to 90 hours or something like that.
And yeah, it is based on the Pathfinder system we're talking about.
The which game?
Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Kingmaker.
Is it a video game?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's an isometric CRPG. You're kind of buying 6 games in once. It's like you're playing you're kind of playing a campaign that in real life would probably take like 4 or 5 years, but since it's a video game, it goes much faster. It's you going from like small time adventurer to being a king of your own like barony or region, and you are like working your way up the ranks. It's really fun, really satisfying. It has its flaws, but I still really recommend it.
Otter, what was that one system that we talked about? The Command and Conquer what?
Oh, you're talking about Axe, which I hate that name. I do get why it's called that though. It's like Adventure, Conqueror, King system. So it's like leveling up. That's one that it's one that a lot of people swear by, mostly because it has like, I think it's supposed to be a really solid like, it has a lot of like solid tables. There's a lot of really solid mechanics around it. From what I know, it was made by like a lawyer or something. Which
wow.
What I saw that didn't like.
They actually made like a full-on economy for you to use, where it's like they're actually diving into like the nitty-gritty on how to make a fantasy economy, how to make it work.
Yeah, I didn't like the they're trying to like say we have like 200 classes, and it's because just slight variations on a class based on race is how it's picked out.
I hate that stuff. I'd rather have much fewer classes, but each one plays very differently. That's much more fun.
Don't worry about the eerie music at all. Hold up. So how do you the mana points are calculated?
At level 1, everyone starts with 6, so it's pretty easy. Same with stamina points, everyone starts with 1.
But do I get more because I'm a wizard?
No. So you get one or the other. It's basically split into martial fighters and spell fighters. If you're martial, you get a stamina point. If you're a spell fighter, you get 6 magic points.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I get the mana points because I'm a wizard.
Right, or sorcerer, whatever you end up being.
All right, Snow said, I was wondering where that boss music came from.
Because I'm the boss.
Oh, boy. How much of the inventory and like equipment does he have filled out?
Not a lot, just armor and weapons.
Are you able to easily convert over like magic items and stuff?
I haven't really gotten into that, so I don't know how he's going to do magic items yet.
I'm kind of curious about that. Some RPG systems will be pretty loose about it. Others have like specific rules for creating them. It just depends.
Tim Allen has his class picked out. Mead Lord.
Lord.
Well, I do know that brewing is one of the talents, so.
Hey, I'll do that. I'll be like a full-on like hardcore dwarf thief or whatever, who just does nothing but brewing ale in his spare time. That sounds fun.
You could take brewing and cooking.
Hey, I'll have like my own tavern and everything. That'll be the context.
Wait, so you're going to be like the height of...
Have a great night, James.
You're going to be the height of Darth Sidious. I mean, we're going to really consider him a party member? Or just a pet?
I'm
just a
one
pet.
quarter of a party member. There we go.
Oh,
We
God.
lost AC as well.
Have a
Oh,
great
no.
night, AC.
See you later. Oh boy. Hold up.
Mead will be my holy
Oh.
water.
The language I see is limited and fluent, and there's like 2 marks on the fluent and then 1 on the limited.
Right. So when you first make your character, you get 2 points to put into languages, but you get fluency in what's called common. So unlike D&D, human is its own language. So it's not like everyone speaks human.
Bullshit! Bullshit! No, I'm
That's
joking.
kind of what everyone else said. It's like, well, I thought common was human. That's not exactly technically true.
I always thought common was just the trade language. I never thought about which. I figured it was probably an amalgamation of a bunch of common terms that made it across trade routes and stuff.
Well, I think the reason why a lot of RPGs will have common be like basically English is that a lot of the settings kind of go by Lord of the Rings logic, where it's like humans have the most influence.
Exactly.
So it kind of assumes that, like, it goes back all the way to the beginning, where it's like, yeah, humans are supposed to be the dominant race in the world, and everything
Right.
else is they're there, but it's not quite as much.
I just
Yeah, and
figured I figured the humans had multiple different languages, the elves had multiple different. I figured they all had multiple languages, and there was just one language I never thought too much about where it originated from. It's just called common.
Well,
Yeah, in
technically, that
Star
wouldn't be a
Wars-
different language. That would be a different dialect. So
Yeah,
what you're
in
saying
Star
is true,
Wars-
but it's not exactly true.
In Star Wars, it was supposed to be the trade language that everyone uses. That's why everyone knows it.
Right.
When you go
In
to-
reality, the trade language is English right now.
Well, if you want to use an actual real-world analogy, it's like Esperanto, but nobody knows what Esperanto is unless you're a weird person like me that actually knows that word.
So what is the rest points or not the rest points, but the grit points?
You know what? I don't know. We haven't used those yet. I need to look those up.
Because it says resources, and I'm sure the rest points, I'm assuming, is you're spending your die type to get hit points back.
Probably hit
Yes,
points
sir.
and mana points, yeah.
So is the
Right.
full system out, or is it just the starter guide right now?
No, it's just the beta.
All right.
So that's kind of the nice thing is they're using us to beta test it so we can tell them what we like, what we don't like, and then when the full system comes out, hopefully all the stuff we don't like is flushed out.
I mean,
So
that's
is he keeping the currency simple? It's not going to have that electrum and all the other dumb shit.
Oh, I hope so.
Is it just
I hope
gonna
it's
be
just gold.
gold, copper, and silver.
I don't know for sure, but I really hope so.
you can
'Cause that's
kind
one
of
of the first things that
justify
always change.
you can kind of
Yeah.
justify platinum being there, but electrum always bugged me. It's like, why is this even here?
Yeah, but would platinum be higher than gold?
No, but it's
Silver?
fantasy. I don't care that much
But
about it.
electrum was a liquid that
I
can
mean,
get
I
coated
do
with
when
to make you immune to laser fire.
Mhm.
Like electrum sounds retarded. Any way you put it.
Yeah, I
For
can only
me,
speak
what
to
gets
my
me about
system.
electrum is it's like nobody's going to be wanting to use electrum because it's like, how does it works? It's like 2 electrum pieces is a gold piece. It's like, whereas everything else, it's like, oh, if you have 10 silver, you have 1 gold. If you have 10 copper, you have 1 silver. That makes plenty of sense.
Oh, you know how you can really piss off your players with upkeep? You actually have the what is it? The smaller versions of the coins.
Oh God!
Like in real life, you
Just
have
give them like exotic names to make it even more confusing. So instead of
Like
gold,
King Bob,
it's
you
like
know what I'm talking about.
you have like 5 dragons and then like 4
Nope, I don't use that
steppins
crap.
and 3 like I don't know barons, and there you go. There's sense for you.
Oh
And you
my,
have
we gotta
even
run
more
that
for
one
silver
time.
and copper.
We gotta run that one time just to really piss people off.
It's just going to be a really bookkeeping heavy session.
Oh my god! And you know what you also need to do? You have fool's gold, and it's actually printed as coins.
Pyrite coins.
There is a skill in this one called trickery where you can do that kind of stuff.
So, well, I can turn my copper into gold looking.
All right,
Well,
Snow.
not only
Pyrite
that, I'm pretty
collection.
sure alchemy says you can change copper into gold under the alchemy skill.
Yeah, but you would have to put in like a world, like an in-world reason to how to detect that. So, because what would really realistically happen is like you'd have like basically the mob figure this out, kidnap a bunch of alchemists, and be like, "All right, bitch, this is what you're doing all day, every day, just printing gold." Because all
Yeah,
they need is the.
They
Go
would
ahead.
probably have someone with detect magic, and if you detect magic on the gold, it's gone.
Oh, wait! It takes my copper, bitch. Can I sue them for stealing my copper?
I don't think lawyer was one of the skills I saw.
I have to hire Rick Nikita. He's my lawyer.
You can throw it under the knowledge. There's a bunch of empty blocks there.
What the fuck are we watching?
This
Oh,
looks
not
like
to shoot.
Transformers.
It is Transformers.
Says Electrum causes Transformers to break out and dance. Fever.
Oh man.
I love that clip.
Well, it's better than the movies where the light arcs. Good old arcing lasers.
So,
The whole time you guys are talking about Electrum, that episode of Transformers was the only thing I could think about.
So I'm assuming the exhaustion trait is pretty much like 5th edition or other ones.
I haven't really looked into that yet either.
It
What is
kind of looks
action?
like it's a cumulative penalty. That's what it's looking like to me.
Well, that is one thing that they added that I really like, is because they have this action point system, when you try and do something multiple times, you actually have a disadvantage every time after the first time you try and do it. So you can't just spam attacks and break the system.
No, that makes perfect sense. You don't
Of course,
wanna
you can
attack,
also use
like,
an action
5
point to give
times.
yourself advantage, so you can cancel that out at the same
So
time.
how many action points do you get? Is it based on like a long
It's
rest and stuff, and you get them back?
Oh, no. So it's 4 that replenishes at the end of your turn.
Mhm.
So you could use them all on your turn and have none. Or, like in that example I was giving you where I defended Otter or parried for Otter, that would be one of my action points. So when it came back to my turn, I would only have 3 to use on my turn.
Wait, if they refill after every turn, you
At the end of your turn. You see what I'm saying?
are you saying using these during like someone else's turn?
Yeah, I can use an action point on someone else's turn.
Okay.
It's action points per round, so everybody's turn is in a round.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Turn around.
Basically, you need to use them all up before the end of the round.
I mean, yeah, but not necessarily. It's
You
a good
don't
idea to
have
have
to, but
one
it's
in
a good idea.
reserve. Yeah. Like just having one in reserve to parry or shield yourself or dodge or something is not a bad idea.
I'm wondering about this. It seems like a system where kind of like taking something along the lines of like legendary actions for monsters would fit this type of action point system really well.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the monsters he has have legendaries out yet, but I'm sure that's something he's thinking about. Because if you listen to the guy, he's a big 5th edition player and a big Pathfinder player. So basically what he tried to do was take the best of both worlds and put them together.
The only thing I can see with the death thing is that it's gonna be a bitch to roll a new character. If you die
Yeah.
like in the first
Yeah.
session. Like
Yeah.
from what I
Don't
know
die.
with your older ones, like the reason why it didn't matter too much because it was like it took like 10 minutes to roll up a new character.
Yeah, I think that's the appeal of a lot of OSR games too. It's like most, especially the deadlier systems, they kind of have to say, well, yeah, it's likely you're gonna die, but it only takes like 15 minutes to roll up a new character.
Well, I'm kind of hoping they come up with an app kind of like D&D Beyond type thing, so it can help people do this a lot faster.
Yeah. A friend of mine would DM not only D&D, but a whole bunch of other types of games. But the thing is, all the worlds that he built, because it was all, he didn't use modules, he made all his own stuff. He had them all in the same universe, so he actually had conversions set up for every D&D character to go into Rifts, to go into Danger International. He had like sheets for each character and each one. He converted them, make sure it was all even. But he said the first thing he always does whenever he's setting stuff up is he works out the currencies. That was probably one of his biggest things, was he had all the different currencies set up before anything else. And it was like, dude, that sounds like a headache. And he's like, well, look how money works. You got to have that set or else everything else will fall apart. He's kind of got a point. But wow, it was a complex. It was just not just that one world, but many worlds. And he had them all figured out and how they all conversions and everything. It was insane.
For me, it's like I don't fully know what's going on in a game I plan until I figured out like what the actual quote unquote plot is, or more accurately, what's happening in the world. That way you can kind of, at that point, you can sort of have a cause and effect of things running together. But then again, sometimes you got to start the other way around. Sometimes you got to create a dungeon first or whatever, or a location or an NPC. Then it starts fitting together.
Luther Jones. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Why do we have two Billy Bobs?
I'm outside.
On
the boat.
Oh, that reminds me. I ended up getting an RPG book just the other day that so far I really enjoy it. It's not a specific system or anything. It's for DMs who are kind of like looking for little aids to help them plan out their games. It's a really cool book. It's
Otter,
called.
we talked
Yeah.
about this. You need to stop spreading your AIDS everywhere. You know? It's pretty nasty.
What? Oh, was I doing it again?
Yeah,
Your AIDS.
You're giving a book out to give people AIDS. You know.
Oh yeah, that is a problem. Yeah, good catch. Yeah, it's a really cool book though. It's called the Tome of Adventure Design, and it's pretty much a massive book that lets you take several different approaches. It has a bunch of tables for you to kind of help figure out what you want in your game. It's kind of one of those books that's there to help spark your imagination. It's really fun. I really like it so far.
You know what I did?
Run that by me again.
The book is called Tome of Adventure Design.
I did like in Baldur's Gate 3, where for the martial classes you did have some abilities and shit you could use. Spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, it does make it more fun.
Does this system have any difference with the reach of your weapons?
Yes.
Calculate at all?
So that's another thing they minimized on. They don't do feet. Everything is done in spaces. So generally it's a 1-space weapon or 2-space weapon.
So like there's an actual benefit to using the halberd and stuff.
Yeah, it probably has 2 spaces.
Spears.
And, well, all the weapons, there's so much stuff in this. All the weapons have their own special abilities depending on what type of weapon it is. So hammers cause bleed, swords cause expose, spears you can use a charge type thing. So your weapon actually changes like the kind of damage you do. It's kind of interesting. But Otter, I also have a thing called the Game Master's Book of Random Encounters, which I found very, very fun for making random encounters real quick.
Let me check it out. I love random encounters. I'm talking as the guy who, whenever he started out DMing, like I made things a lot more like, I guess you could say, authored, which I learned rather quickly is not a very fun way to run a game. Anymore, I love the tables. The tables just make the game so much more unpredictable.
All right, Frederick, RH Snow's got a question for you.
Only Gremlins? No, I'm not drawing only Gremlins. RH Snow. Maybe if we zoom in, I can show her. This is actually Sabrina, right, Wrangler?
Yeah.
Yes. That is Sabrina.
She's almost done. Just a little bit of detail left on the whip, the electrified whip. And yeah, she'll be ready to go.
Yeah, she's looking pretty. Where's the scar?
Oh, you're right. I forgot about the scars. She's got one vertical above the eyebrow and two circles.
Vertical above the left eyebrow and 2 dots on the left cheekbone.
Okay, on the same side. And it's the left, right. Okay, so let me do this in pencil before I do it in ink.
Looking at this book, it looks like it's a bunch of mini encounters that are built for you, but there's some variation there too.
Right.
Oh,
I kind of use it for like ideas and whatnot.
How does he handle dual wielding?
Well, I don't see any point to it because you get multiple attacks if you really want them already with the action points, so you kind of don't have a benefit with dual wielding.
Boo. Listen, I wanted my short sword and dagger.
Well,
stab a motherfucker.
It's definitely something to ask about, though. I'll probably bring it up on the Discord and see what they think.
Yeah, what is the thief class like? Is
A
the
beacon
thief
of
class
hope, Tim
actually-
Allen. One day, I'm hoping to commission Frederick to actually do a piece for General Karst.
How's this look, Wrangler? Is it?
Above the eyebrow looks good. Those 2 circles, they wouldn't be that small. They're just like dots. I mean, they wouldn't be that big. They're just like 2 dots.
Okay,
2
2
circles,
dots.
you say?
Yeah,
They don't look very
like,
small to me.
It was, yeah. Yeah, I meant.
those are well, they're not really circles, Otter. You know, they're more like a balloon.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
water
but
balloons.
under
you
the
know?
eye, it's like, yeah, they're not very noticeable. It's just like
they're pretty
yeah,
noticeable.
Shrapnel right
Quincy.
there.
They're
Yeah,
pretty noticeable.
It's kind of tough not to notice it.
We're talking about the scars, but we can go back to talking about the other things you guys are talking about. That's more fun.
The athletic circles, let's just say.
How's this? Oh,
Very
Matter of
sorry.
fact, I don't even know what her
I'm
face looks like.
speechless.
Like this.
Seen her face.
Yes.
I'm totally
Yeah.
looking at her face. I swear.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm not looking at her face. I'm supposed to be looking at her face. I was looking at something else.
So
I added a
Yes,
little bit of texture
face.
around the
I
knife.
see that.
I forgot what I was going to ask.
Wow, that's
You
really
can straight up
interesting.
throwing knives too.
The pouches as well. Like if you look at the pouches right here, see a little bit
Nice.
of detail there. There you go. There we go.
That's
Good
gorgeous,
drawing,
Frederick.
Thank you very much.
It looks awesome.
Oh, so if you get a whip weapon, you can restrict someone's movement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she tends to ensnare a lot.
Actually, one of the guys is playing Spider-Man, except it's not Spider-Man. I think he called him Porter Perker or something like that.
Peter Porker.
Master Yoshi and Porter Parker need to team up. You know.
Yeah, he does the web shoot to make it so people are restricted and they can't move. It's pretty freaking effective.
Are the classes actually useful? Like, if you play thief class, are you actually the one who really needs to be lock picking and shit? You know.
No, not in that respect. Anybody can lockpick as long as they have the skill in it.
I
But
would
there is a
expect the
rogue.
thief to be better at it though.
Well, and generally speaking, they're probably going to have points in it already.
Yeah,
But
they-
I'm just saying that
A
anybody
little
can
more
do it.
practiced.
Mhm.
Peter Porker, the Spider Ham.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I have his character sheet. No, I know I do because none of them have printers, so they had to send them to me so I could print them out for him. Hatter Porter is his name.
Wait, they're all broke? Damn.
Yeah, he could disarm a trap or steal stuff. He's got trickery.
Listen, Darth Sidious will be the rogue in the group.
I like it.
The reason why Master Yoshi isn't like a high level wizard just because he spent all his time teaching Darth Sidious how to steal pennies. Devoted his life to it.
That's one way to get swole.
Oh boy. Yeah, Otter, we gotta finish that Call of Cthulhu. We need to do it sooner.
We need to figure out another day to finish it off. I'm pretty confident that y'all could finish it in just another session. Frankly,
I think
it took us a lot longer to get to the complex than you anticipated.
Well, the thing is, you all are at the mansion now, so it's kind of already kicked into high gear.
I'm not at the mansion.
Well, no, you're not. You're sleeping in bed and you're about to contact the lawyers.
Yeah. After they left, contact the lawyers is what we got to open with. I think I'm going to be the only
your
one who's
door down.
By the way, like your sister, she's trying to hide that she's a fucking cop. Yeah, she's like really suspicious of the shit she says.
Then
Hey, the real saving
Kahuna, though, just Kahuna's performance.
Kahuna just surprised me that entire session.
He wouldn't stop, and I'm trying to play the straight guy, his opposite, you know?
I kind of
Ironically, I think that's what slowed you all down because we were all too busy laughing.
Well, the whole concept for his character was I was basically say make Gyra still killed, adult or die
with a schnoz.
With a schnoz.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she's below average beauty. The thing is, she's actually really attractive, except for like having a really large schnoz, which just distracts so much that everybody is kind of turned off.
So she's
the
Jewish.
The roles I
Yeah,
made,
actually. So this is the
my character's the only one that noticed that part.
This is the pitch for the character that Kahuna gave me. This is 1933. So she is a defector from Germany. She is a Jewish German woman who is also secretly a sympathizer with the Reich, and she's a Mormon zealot.
What?
So this is what happens when I start talking with Christian and suggesting shit to him.
He's like, Billy Bob's like, "Which suggestion are you going to take?" And Christian was like, "All of them."
Let's just make the most insane character I can think of and just roll with it.
I don't think I've played a more straight-laced, regular guy in anything else besides this. And I somehow seem to keep constantly winding up paired up with Kahuna's character. Holy freaking odd couple.
Dude, like I said, it's gonna be
the whole
funny.
time.
I loved
It's
seeing
gonna be hilarious.
I love seeing the divide between your all's characters because you, Wrangler, and Umbrella, your characters were both relatively straightforward. I wouldn't say fully serious, but relatively tame. Then you have Kahuna's character and Billy's character, where it's just one is that. Another is just Rick Nikita, who wants to sell nothing but Baldos.
Well, he's also a
Have
lawyer.
a great night, Animation Overload. Thanks for coming in.
Listen, what was the fucking? What was it, Boar McCock or whatever the fuck I was trying to fast talk with the with the mortgage. You know,
What
from
surprised
Harvard
me is
University.
that stream has a decent amount of views too. It got more than I thought it would. Yeah, it's already up to 53 views or something.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I mean, I've seen traditionally the gaming streams in general don't get the same kind of views as other streams. It's
No, it
more-
makes sense. Like we're sitting there for like 2 to 4 hours playing a tabletop game that's verbally spoken. So it's like, yeah, I can see why it wouldn't be near as many views.
Yeah, typically that's who you're going to find is people who are into the game, just straight up into the game itself, or people who already know us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like look at Royce's Star Shatter streams. It's those aren't the streams that bring in new viewers. Those are where the viewers that are already together hang out.
Right. I like
So
the
King
description
Bob,
I
does he
put for
have
this
like
video. That is not prepared, which can eternal lie, and with strange water weasels, even my PCs may die.
That's great.
So King
It's
Bob,
so
is there
much
like is he gonna have like an
Sounds like a
addiction
curse.
table?
Am I gonna have a what table?
Is he gonna have a rules for addiction?
Huh. You know what? I'll think about that when I get back to you.
Like that would be fun.
Addiction is something that a lot of RPG systems are very vague about. I love it whenever an RPG book has it, but most of them don't have it in there.
I think Cyberpunk 2020 is pretty good with addiction.
That makes
I
sense.
think I remember it
because,
corrupts.
Yeah, GURPS, that also makes sense.
Why is the music louder than it's supposed to be?
I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Just a bit more.
I think what I would like to do, though, when I'm thinking about it, is that sounds like something that I would put on the ancestry type thing and make it a negative, so you could actually get yourself another skill by being addicted to something.
So it's using the Savage, like the same thing that's in Savage World with the you get positives and you get negatives. You get more negatives to get better rewards.
Yeah.
Or-
When you're doing your
Head
ancestry, yeah.
start. Right. Is there Letras on there?
Not yet. But who knows what they're
Alright,
going to put in there.
guys. I'm gonna head out. Have a good night.
See you later.
Have a good night,
Cheers.
Maji.
Night,
Have a
Mike.
great night, Maj. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Because you know Master Yoshi's got to have it on there.
Master Yoshi.
Yeah, Master Yoshi. Not to be confused with Master Roshi. Have
Oh,
nothing to
yeah.
do with each other.
It's his long lost half brother.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So what are the races that he has so far?
And you know what? I should probably bring the book up since you keep asking questions that I don't know answers to.
Welcome to having Billy Bob as a player.
All right, let's see.
I'm just curious, you know.
Well, problem is I don't know this book very well, so I don't know where anything is. But
And Billy
luckily
Bob's
there's
like,
a search
this is a
thing.
game system. How do I game the system?
Well, you know, it's one thing I don't like about older D&D, or just don't care for how limited the races and stuff are.
Oh, this is still technically fairly limited, but like I said, it's also quite
Yeah, but it's not
customizable.
fun either. You know,
I like somebody who has the first edition books on a shelf. Like the first edition books are a lot more restrictive on like what race you are and what classes you can pick. If you're
I
not a
used to.
human, it's very restrictive.
Yeah, I used to have them. I don't have them anymore. But I see human, elf, dwarf, halfling, gnome, orc, dragonborn, Giantborn, Angelborn, Fiendborn,
Angelborn.
and Beastborn. Yeah, there's Angelborn.
So an Aasimar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there any like restrictions on them that can't be evil?
Are the Angelborn like Nephilim?
There are no restrictions. There is actually no alignment whatsoever in this game, so you can do whatever the hell you want.
So I can be
And
an evil angel.
I was
The
gonna ask
Angelborn,
everybody. I was gonna ask everybody who DMs, what do you all think about alignment in your games? Like, do you all use it to any extent, or is it more of just something you kind of ignore? Like me personally, I sort of see it like a character's base moral, but I don't really take it too seriously at the same time. But I was kind of curious what you all thought about it.
I think it's necessary for new players because they don't really, understand the concept so well. So being able to point to it and say this is what your character should be doing is kind of helpful.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's really only for when you need it for your deities or spells or crap like that. Other than I don't see any
Harder.
point.
I don't
You
like
need
the
to have
whole
that-
what is it, the experience penalties that was in older editions if you didn't play to your alignment. I thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, but keep in mind, King Bob, wasn't a lot of weapons and stuff tied to your alignment, like magic weapons and shit?
Magic, yes. Magic weapons and spells are specifically alignment based in a lot of stuff, especially in the older ones,
Makes sense.
but not so
Also-
much in the newest ones.
That is
Also,
something they would put into like random tables too in adventures. It'd be like swap your alignment to the exact opposite. So if you're playing a lawful good like paladin, all of a sudden he's like chaotic evil or something, just like trying to kill everyone.
So Otter,
Lawful, neutral, chaotic.
Yeah.
you need to have that Griffith mindset, you know?
Oh, I see.
It's all fine as long as accomplish my dream.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's not gonna have any side effects. No, no consequences that will screw me over later. Not at all.
I'm starting to think that the people running the world have an alignment of chaotic stupid.
Griffith rules the world.
That was my
I mean, he is,
barbarian. Chaotic stupid. Was
Here's the
exactly how I
thing,
played him.
Griffith is seceding, I'm just saying.
Griffith didn't kill himself.
Here's an alignment: lawful, naive.
Yeah,
Oh,
some would
boy.
argue lawful good is lawful naive.
So the Fiendborn, I'm guessing, is Tiefling.
Yeah, and one thing that both the Angelborn and the Fiendborn have that the other ones don't. With Angelborn, you can play a Fallen Angel, where you get all the skills from the Fiendborn, and the Fiendborn, same vice versa.
Have a great night, Tim, Master of Mead.
So they're really kind of interchangeable. Races.
Except that you don't identify. You're still not you're still not a Fiendborn if you're playing a Fallen Angel. You're still technically an Angelborn.
By the way, Skunks is making one hell of an offer right now. It was, hey, chat or panel. If one of y'all have a character you'd like me to draw, I do it
King
for
Bob.
free. This offer is just open for one.
King Bob, Helga.
I already got the AI art the Magichan did for me. That's good.
What a shame.
I think Otter needs to have his drawn. This Otter, whatever you're gonna be.
Trying to think what I want my character to be, honestly. I do kind of want to go with a dwarf character of some sort. Like
So
a
no
dwarf
Beastborn?
fighter or thief.
See, I thought you were gonna take Beastborn and go Beastborn Otter.
That is true. I could do that. I'm probably gonna have to think about it. Like one way or the other, because On the one hand, I can be a water weasel. On the other hand, I really like dwarves. Dwarves are pretty neat.
Let me see. What do dwarves get in this?
Alcoholism.
They also get fuck you elves, die bitch.
Yeah, I guess you could call it the second thing on there, toxic fortitude, poisonous resistance. So that's pretty much the same thing.
I love the
Oh,
fact that it's
awesome.
just dwarves drink so much they've gained such a tolerance that poison doesn't affect them as much.
Right, that's actually the one you get for. They have skills that cost 0. They're free.
I've met some sailors like that.
Yeah, the dwarf 01 is called Iron Stomach. You have advantage on saves against effects that come from consuming food or liquids. So yeah, exactly.
So would a
So we're gonna
redneck
have you
trailer
play-
park shine runner count for that same iron stomach?
So what you're saying is we need to have him taste test all the food, just in case you try to poison one of them.
How can you tell though if he doesn't get sick from it? He's like, yeah, it's good.
Exactly.
Uh-oh, he croaked.
It's good for you. That's not good for you.
I
Or
just
good for
end
him.
up eating like a steak or something, act like I'm gonna croak, just fall on my side. 5 minutes later, I get back up and say, yeah, it's good.
Wait, what? But he would be able to taste some of the poison, you know?
It would be like Bortus from the Orville. He could eat anything.
Like we just wait until he gets like a lot of gas, you know?
Snow's right. You could be a dwarf otter.
Ooh,
Is that
Now,
did
that's
you
an
intend
idea.
to be a comma there or no?
No, I think she wants him to be a midget
Or
otter.
maybe
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was saying, "Hey, be a dwarf otter" or "be a dwarf otter."
you know, I am a dwarf in real life. Not really. I am
you
a
are.
midget in real life.
He is. He's like 4'7". He's got like red hair.
That explains everything.
I've got the
Also-
poison resistance and everything. You know.
Yep, she is confirmed a dwarf otter.
I want to be a dwarf otter. So how does what is a dwarf otter? Is it just a short otter? Is that it, or is it something else?
No,
Run through the litter,
like a dwarf
perhaps?
pig.
Well,
It's
why
like
don't you
a dwarf
ask
pig.
Skunks what that would look like if he drew it?
Maybe just ask skunks to draw it, and then that's
Draw a
what
dwarf
the
otter.
whole race ends up being.
I'm trying to see what would actually work for the otter, because it gives you, if you do beast traits, you basically have to pick from a whole bunch of different
Wait,
senses, mobility, jumping, flying, body, natural weapons, miscellaneous. So there's lots of crap to choose from.
My body
So-
is a natural weapon.
so R.H. Snow, he'd be looking up to you, you know. You couldn't see eye to eye.
At 4'11".
Short, super buff with a beard and a bad attitude, and he's an otter. Yeah, skunks.
Is he gonna be a young
If you're
otter
seeing
or
that,
an old
that's
otter?
what I want. I want a dwarf otter.
Is it going to be a young otter or an old otter?
Yes. No. Probably an older otter.
Is this an otter with dwarfism? So I'll have the stubby legs. And...
It's an otter with dwarfism. He is also a dwarf.
So he's like the dwarf is like a were otter.
Wait,
yes.
how much of advantage would he have in combat, King Bob? Since he's like,
He popped
Fucking
out of a hole
2 foot.
in the ground, and he said, give me fish and clams."
So we got a dwarf that is an anthropomorphized otter.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
since he's taking dwarf, in the dwarf list, he could take short-legged, which gives his speed decreased by 1 space, but gives him a -1, so he gets 1 more point to put somewhere else. That could be useful.
I'll take it.
Skunk says to hit him up with some attributes and personality.
I'll have to do that.
he's gay.
It smells like, oh my gosh, a dwarf were otter.
Spreading AIDS to the world.
The one word that can describe him, flamboyant.
Like Jared in South Park.
Voila, Wrangler. It's complete. The drawing is Sabrina is inked.
Oh my god.
Well done.
R.H. Snow just gave the best comment. Where dwarf otters smashing clams and getting hammered. That's perfect. I want that. Skunks, if you can do that, that's exactly what I want.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sabrina.
Athletic.
Ladies
tip.
and gentlemen, pixelation.
Yeah, I'm having a. Let me pop out and back in again. I think a refresh will be due.
Giggity.
Freaking French Canadian internet.
Oh boy.
What the heck? I don't know what happened there.
So Otter, if you take natural weapon and venomous natural weapon, you would have venomous weapons.
Ooh.
Where did he go?
He said he was going to pop out and pop back in.
Oh.
Is this any better?
Yes. It's a bit better. That's right, Skunks. Smashing clams and getting hammered.
Here we are.
Now, time to commission Frederick for Chainmail Man.
I'm going to charge by the individual chain.
Matter of fact, you've shown me that you can do a whip, so he's gonna have a chainmail whip. You know.
I charge per line. I'm just warning you.
Oh God, the internet's getting worse.
Now here, let me make this commission nothing but speed lines.
Speedline man.
Clams. That's like the Otter version of the band Smashing Pumpkins.
No,
be
but it's
honest,
got to be a circle.
Clams.
It's got to be like the tiniest circle in the middle, and then speed lines going out in every direction.
I mean,
it, you know?
no, but when Guts goes berserk, he becomes just speed lines. The speed lines turn into shades, giving out his shape, but it's all speed lines.
I am the speed lines.
Well, wait until he gets the berserker armor.
I am science.
Turns into death.
I think that since my hero is going to be fighting like Japanese characters in my comic, I can get away with them like having manga signs and symbols when they scream. I think it'd be cool. Or is that cultural appropriation? I don't want to become the next Ubisoft.
Yeah, but
I'm going to
Skunk,
play that one more time, but we got to start wrap up shortly here.
but
And I
Skunk,
can buy.
Skunks, if you can, I want the dwarf otter to be like a dwarf, but he has the fur and everything of an otter. He has the face and everything. It's just he has like a Gimli beard or something that's kind of like, I don't know, sort of like grayish or something. He's very buff, holding an axe or something, and he's smashing clams and getting hammered.
Since we're fixing to wrap up, I'm going to play this again.
Pisses my cat off every time you do.
Don't worry, I'm fixing to have Otter have the other Chomuske fucking clip.
Cultural inappropriation.
Alrighty, let's.
I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play that other one real quick before we wrap up. Since you mentioned Ubisoft, here we go. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Culturally appropriate your copy in November.
Nunny.
I actually had a couple people tell me they like my trailer better than the actual one. It looked more fun.
You're gonna have to work a little bit
I
on your
just edited
Japanese.
it properly.
Alrighty, King Bob.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna be running a one shot of DC 20 sometime. I don't know how promote that, but got my Substack, which is not under 4F Foundation. It's like Captain Bob, I think, but it has all my 4F Foundation stuff on it, so go check that out. And I'm working on JavaScript right now so I can make the new website eventually. That's me. Yeah, the old website's still up.
Oh, what's this lovely website I'm seeing right here? I wonder if anyone we know right here in this panel is behind that.
Yeah. Yep. So how much longer is this one going to be in use? So you're already doing some of the transfers, right?
Yeah, I got. Well, I don't know React very well, so I built the new one in React. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but I'm not entirely sure how to do it. I mean, I could make a really basic website really quick. It wouldn't be hard, but I kind of want it to be more flashy and cool looking. So it's going to take me a while I'm
If
learning.
you're going to make a website, have it look cool, you know?
Exactly. I mean, if I had my way, it would be a 3JS, which is a 3D one. But those, I have no idea how to do that. And I'm not even going to try right now.
All right. Otter.
Oh, were you about to say something, Billy?
Otter.
Otter. Well, I have a Swords and Sorcery novella out right now. I am hard at work on book 2. It's right at starting to get beta readers to looking at it. So, so far, so good. So if you want to check out Steel and Stormbright, The Curse of the Star Raids, you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the big retailers. I've also got a Call of Cthulhu one-shot that we just did the other day that's up on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/TheLordOtter, and we're hoping to conclude that here sometime soon. You can also find my written reviews, short stories, and some articles on Substack. So downstreampulp.substack.com. I forgot my own URL there for a second.
All right. Frederick.
imakecomics.com is my URL, and that's where you'll see samples of my comic book, Red Tail, which I'm working on, about halfway through right now. And I also stream my the progress of the comic, like I did today on this stream, on my own YouTube channel, Frédéric Guimont. And tomorrow, I'll be talking about my trip to Nashville, where I met Billy Bob and went shopping for comic books. And also saw the President Donald Trump talk about Bitcoin. So stay tuned to get all the details.
That is at what time? What time? To the time, man.
All right, Billy.
You can find me on Only Gremlins on Substack.com. Also, tomorrow I'll be on Frederick's art stream, I think at 7 Central.
Yeah.
When we started.
8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Yep, and then on August the 9th, I'll be doing Berserk Deluxe Volume 8 with Frederick, Otter, Christian, I think. And then whenever Otter gets off his ass and gets his Ghost of the Badlands copy, we can finally do a review.
I get off my ass and finally check the mailbox, and I find out one day that it's finally there.
Well, listen, you're just really lazy, but I'll be doing that with Tinkage, Frederick, and Otter, a review stream for Ghost of the Badlands. That's about it.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. And don't forget to check out Haley Star Bad Kitty and Bad Kitty Haley's World. Magic-fueled sci-fi adventures, fun for everybody. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like. And if you didn't, appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time. And God bless.
Wrangler, I had one last thing to say before we cut off.
And
I am in the middle of reviewing a certain book that you might have just mentioned. So stay tuned.
I will
Put a kick in it, make her gay!
God damn it.
I will not do that. Good night, everybody.
Kapla.
Au revoir.
Squeak, squeak.
Will you